Hello, welcome back to the channel. It's Natalie. I am playing with this Amy Designs die set. There's actually two. I actually got the two. So this one's got the slightly bigger animals and turtles and everything else. And then the other one has a little bit smaller. And then I've got a stamp set from Paper Rose called Mermaid Magic. Now, last time I checked, that one was being discontinued. So if you happen to like it, get over there and check out the website sooner rather than later, my friends. Anyway, just thought I'd let you know. So, I mean, it's a good time to get a deal. I've got some scrap cardstock, as you can see here. I am going to cut way too many aquatic animals, but that's okay. I didn't know how much I was going to use. I didn't know what colors I was going to use, and we just go with the flow here, and we don't worry about it too much. So we're going to die cut all those little pieces out, but it's going to be fun. I actually bought this die set from Craft Zone here in Melbourne. They actually go a few different places, markets and everything else, but it's a bit of fun. And I thought it was pretty stinking cute. So I've got peacock feathers, salty ocean and stormy sky, and I'm just using a sticky mat and going around and just doing, a little bit here, a little bit there, just a little bit of fun, trying to have some darker colors on the top, trying to have be the lighter colors on the bottom, because generally speaking, they say that, animals and sharks and whatnot, all that sort of stuff, because the predators, well, not that it would be a shark, but the fishies, the predator is underneath them, looking up, it's harder for them to see, so to speak, apparently. And then, of course, looking down, it's hard for us. But I'm going to break that rule clearly, because my octopus is going to have some darkness underneath him. I don't know whether octopus do that, but, we go with the flow and we have some fun. So the peacock feathers, I'm trying to do a little bit on that lighter greeny blue color, but I am actually adding two colors to one animal. So with the porthole, I've got some walnut stain, and I'm through the die, I'm going to put some little rivets in and bolts and whatever else those things are supposed to be called, just so it has a little bit of more fun. The same with my little turtle. Now, I don't really like him as much as I had hoped, but we're going to make do. It's all good. We're going to make do. We don't restart. I can't be bothered. Life's too short. I'm too busy. And we don't want to make this into a stressful situation. We just want to have some fun, don't we? We just want to have fun. Girls want to have fun, and guys, because we do have some guys. And I really love, let's digress a little bit, or pivot, shall we go. I do love seeing what the guys get up to, because, they tend to have a little bit of a different sort of, obviously they're not so much as into florals and that sort of stuff as we are. Not us, all us girls are into florals, but you know what I mean. But it's fun. It's awesome. And I get a lot of inspiration out of them, which I hope they also get inspiration out of me and all us girls. So the more the merrier. This background, let's get back on track. This background I actually made one time when I was at a crafty retreat with some girls. We just call it camp. Stamp camp. And this is through an old stencil. I love this stencil. I think I do need to let it go, because, it is getting a bit older and I don't think you can get it anymore. And this is just through some gold paste. You can do things like lunar paste. I don't think I use lunar paste, but you know what I mean? You can do lots of fun and just let it dry and just use it. So to me, it was just like, the bubbles going up. Do we have gold bubbles? No, but creative license. We're going to have some fun. As I said, it's all about fun. What's happening in my life? I will say now, if this voiceover sounds a little bit different from normal, I have packed up my craft room, as I've said in other videos, and I'm using a makeshift craft room. I kicked my husband out of the house for a little while because he lost his officey area because we're selling the house, which I've mentioned a few times on my channel. And staging is done. When I do this voiceover, staging is done. We are about to go live. Oh my gosh. Mixed emotions. And so yeah, we're making do. So forgive me for a little while until we sell this house and get set up in another one. You're going to have some possibly a little bit different sound. But, you know, hopefully you're here for the entertainment. I do have a little story for you. I managed to score myself a crafty, not belittling anything else out there in the world, but a crafty Purple Heart. Now, again, please don't take this the wrong way. It was just a bit of fun, but someone managed to damage herself and didn't tell anyone. And my husband told them that surely I needed a medal from my misadventures, and they decided to make me a resin Purple Heart. So yes, not, listen, really not, I don't know what you would call it, but you know, from the real Purple Hearts, but a little crafty Purple Heart. So what I did, every time, okay, let's backtrack a little bit. Actually, we'll pause that for a minute. I've just put a little purple on his face because his little eyeballs were through and through. So he needed a little bit of black just for his eyeballs because they just needed to have something finishing them off. I'm just positioning all my little animals, my aquatic animals, and anyway, whenever I get sick, thankfully enough, it is not very often. I have the flu shot every year, and I try to stay away from people like who are sick very carefully, which can be a little bit hard in my industry. But anywho, if I get sick, I get a lot of asthma. Like I get better, I go through it, I get better, I'm all good, and then I end up with 10 ton of asthma. Nothing too major, thankfully enough. Nothing that has put me into hospital, but definitely something that has not been fun. So as I said, we were away. I'd had a lot of asthma that day, and so I was very exhausted. Well, some numpty missed a step as she was walking down the steps and twisted her ankle going under. So not left or right, actually going under and totally missing the bottom step. It was a lot of pain. I really thought I'd done some damage. But all the girls were upstairs playing a game, I think, or something like that, a little card game. And I took myself off to bed because I was in pain and I was struggling with my asthmatic tendencies. And so, yeah, in a bit of fun, the girls were playing with resins, and I did end up with a little Purple Heart for my crafting misadventures. So, as a game, again, Purple Hearts are not laughing matters, but sometimes you've got to have a little bit of fun when you do stupid things. So I've positioned all my little aquatic animals, and now I'm going to just put some little clear crystal drops here, there and everywhere on my background. I've added the foam on the back of the portal. Now the portal actually has like an opening door, but I just stuck it all together. it was going to be easier not to have a problem with that. It could be quite fun to have that little opening, but we're not worrying about that. So it's almost got the look of a shaker card, but it's not, because everything is firmly attached. We're going to trim him off a little bit. So the next thing I've got is a piece of cardstock. I think this is not Pool Party. What is this one? I'll leave a link down below. And this stamp is from a Hero Arts kit. And we're going to use a bit of Versamark and just do some watermark in the background. So something that gives it a little bit of texture, but not too stand out, obvious. Trim this down so I can have a matte. So usually this panel, I would trim it down to 9.7 by 14.1. So that's going to leave my craft stock matte, like this brown, the craft, it's going to be 10 centimeters by 14.4. So then you're going to have a little bit of background where you're going to see the card base. And I'm actually going to use another piece of scrap. I just decided that it needed to be broken up through the center there. So this is another piece of, not yet, I have watched this video again, but another piece of cardstock, and we're just adding a little bit extra. Now this is going to be Memento Espresso. Is it Espresso Truffle? You know, the darker one. Just a little bit here and there. You will see the lid in a second briefly. There we go. You know, it's a dark chocolatey brown sort of color. So glue this on flat. My sentiment is going to be coming from that Mermaid Magic stamp set. Now, it was already stamped. You're not going to see me stamp it. It was already stamped with a little bit of the espresso, I think it's Espresso Truffle. It will all be linked over on my blog, so check that out. And I'll leave a link down below for that as well. And this strip of cardstock, I just thought it broke it up to give me more of a feeling that, you know, portholes, you know, they have that join sometimes. Anyway, I liked it. It might be creative. What's it called? Expression. You know, creative license. That's the word. Creative license. But I just thought it needed a little bit of break it up a little bit. A little bit of brokenness. So yes, there's not much else I can tell you because, you know, we're just waiting. It's a nerve-wracking thing. And I've spoken about this quite a few times, so we won't really go into it. But it is consuming my life at the moment, and, you know, it's what it is. So I think tomorrow afternoon I have to go for an ultrasound on my ankle because I think it is like ligament damage, so I might have to go and see a physiotherapist. But, you know, because I did it, it's a long weekend, which was, I got to do some back training here in Australia. It was the 25th, that weekend, the 25th of January. So that's a couple of weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, something like that. Anywho, so, you know, one would think it would be a little bit better. Oh, I told a lie. I must have looked away when I was rewatching the video. So we're going to stamp that down in the Espresso Truffle. I'm pretty sure it's Espresso Truffle. But it is a little bit too white. It needed, because we've got a lot of browns, got a lot of greens. You've got the white card base, but it's just a little bit too much. So giving it a little bit of time to dry, I am going to go over it a little bit to do just some light inking. Now this is not even with re-inking my brush. This is going to be straight over the top. And we're going to glue him all down. I may have already done it because maybe I've gotten distracted and I've totally missed it again. So if I haven't done it, it's in there somewhere. It's in there somewhere, people. It's all good. That's it for me. Take care. Talk to you very, very soon. Bye.